Let's talk about things that lead to marriages being in trouble, the things that lead to separation, and often to divorce. Jesus said that the number one and the number two commandments are that we are to love God and to love each other. That means to have a good marriage, it's all about love. It's all about feeling loved by each other. It's about giving and receiving love to each other. It's a mystery how we can love someone, but that person does not feel loved by us. During counseling, it's not unusual for a husband to say to me, "Gene, I don't understand why my wife left me. I love her so much." And I explained to him the issue is not that he loves her so much. The issue is that she did not feel loved by him. Women do not leave or divorce men that they feel loved by. We divorce and separate from people that we don't feel loved by. The husband's job is for his wife to feel loved by him. The wife's job is for her husband to feel loved by her. In each and every area of the relationship, where either of you do not feel loved by the other, is the area where the relationship is in trouble. We don't complain where we feel loved. It's the areas of the relationship that each of you do not feel loved where you voice your complaints. Again, it's all about love. Just because you're a Christian doesn't mean that you're going to have a good marriage. There's usually three issues in all relationships that results in us feeling unloved by the other person. These three issues that often lead to separation and divorce are as follows. 1, the needs you have are not being met. 2, emotional triggers. 3, not knowing how to be married. Let's address each one of these. First, let's address unmet needs. As humans, we all have emotional, physical, and spiritual needs. In relationships, those needs are sometimes neglected or go unmet by our spouse. Unmet needs do not go away. If you're expressing to your spouse needs and those needs are not being met or those are being neglected, even though your spouse may love you, you will not feel loved by your spouse in those same exact areas where your needs are not being met or neglected. Examples of these unmet needs may be your spouse not spending quality time with you, always being at work, with a friend, at hobbies or sports, with their mother or their father, or even with your children. You may not be feeling wanted or desired as your spouse is often doing things that he or she wants to do instead of spending time with you and compromising and doing some of the things that you want to do. You may not be feeling like you are a priority. You may feel like your spouse's work, their mother or father or friend or your children are more important to you. This is very common, especially in blended families, where the stepchildren are treated differently than the biological children. Anyone or anything that your spouse puts above you, to include work, parents, children, or friends, sports, or hobbies, will usually resulting in you being jealous over that person or that thing, and it being a constant issue between you and your spouse. Open communication. If you cannot have open communication, you cannot have intimacy in the marriage. Each of you must feel safe to talk to. Each of you must have open and free communication with the other. Statements such as, "I just can't talk to you anymore. You're not safe to talk to. You're always right. You always defend yourself. I'm always wrong. You always interrupt. Or you always explode with your anger." And the big one is, "You never forgive. You constantly remind me of the things that I did in the past." All of these statements are indications that there's not open communication between the two of you. Another issue could be that you're not sexually compatible. One of you may be complaining that your sexual needs are not being met. Or you could be withholding sex from each other as punishment. Or one of you could have a lack of desire. Women who do not feel loved by their husband most often soon lose interest in having sex with a man that they don't feel loved by. The key to most women's sexual desire is for her to have a close, personal, deep love relationship with her husband. Another issue could be there could be sexual dysfunction. You or your spouse may have been molested as a child, which now results in either one of you having a lack of desire for sex. The male not being able to have an erection or the female not being able to achieve an orgasm. Another issue that comes into marriage is trust. If trust was violated by one of you in the past and restitution was never paid, then that issue in the past stays in the present. You have to be taught how to pay the restitution to earn trust back. Trust has to be reestablished. Another issue could be jealousy, insecurity, or abandonment issues. If either one of you have jealousy, insecurity, or abandonment issues, then there's going to be statements like, "Where have you been? What took you so long? You're 10 minutes late. Who were you talking to? Was that a female? What did you say? Why did you talk to the cashier?" There's going to be insecurity repeated over and over and over. Usually, abandonment, jealousy, and insecurity issues are left over from our childhood, where someone did abandon us, someone left us, or a previous relationship, a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or a husband and wife who abandoned you or left you. We need to resolve these issues in the past so they don't come into the present. Now, let's talk about emotional triggers. Emotional triggers are the things that your husband or wife does over and over and over that results in you feeling emotions that you don't want to feel. It could be simple things like an expression on their face, the way that they look, a tone of their voice, raising their finger at you. It's something that's not really a sin, but causes you to feel something that you do not want to feel. Could be that when they walk away from you, it could be when they're silent, when you sense that you're not included in what they're doing, but you perceive that you've been ignored, when you ask for a need and it's not met. Most emotional triggers are left over from our childhood. You have replaced your spouse's mother and father, and your spouse has replaced your mother and father, which means that anytime your spouse says or does anything similar to what your mother or father said or did when you was a little boy or a little girl, you will feel those same exact emotions in the present with your spouse that belong in the past with your mother and father. We're not taught this, and therefore, since we've replaced that mother and father, all of those emotions that belong in the childhood are coming straight forward into the present, causing a fight between you and your spouse. These issues from the childhood need to be resolved. Take a moment and think about your own childhood with your mother and father. What was your relationship with your father between 5 and 15? What was your relationship with your mother between 5 and 15? If your spouse does something similar to what your mother and father did when you were a child, do you now feel with your spouse what you felt back there? And the answer is yes. These emotional triggers get transferred to our spouse. We're not really angry with our spouse. We just feel that anger left over from our childhood and is transferred to our spouse. Now let's talk about lack of knowledge. The Bible tells us that we perish because of lack of knowledge. We're not taught how to be a husband. We're not taught how to be a wife. And we usually don't have good examples to draw from. After a year or two of marriage, most husbands believe that if they work hard, provide their wife and children with a nice house, a car, and food and utilities, that they've done their job, that their wife should be happy and feel loved by them. I often hear from both husbands and wives, I would give up the big house, I would give up the car, the money and the jewelry and the trips and the places that we go, if I just felt loved by my spouse. Traditional marriage seminars and traditional counseling is going to focus on behaviors instead of resolving triggers. They're not going to really teach you how to be married. And if they do, the moment you get triggered from something from the past, you're not going to do what you've been taught to do. We usually, when given a choice of obeying and doing the right thing or obeying our emotions, we usually obey our emotions. We'll obey the emotional trigger. To resolve relationship issues and to have a good marriage, we first must understand why we have the problem. At WOG, we have a different approach to both personal and to marriage counseling. Your first visit is primarily going to be gathering information from you and doing what we call a personal history. It's basically an administrative visit where you'll be asked many questions about your childhood, previous relationships, and previous life's experiences. The purpose of this information is to provide your counselor with your personal history. This information will better equip your counselor to help you more effectively resolve your counseling needs. The first visit is usually 2 to 2.5 hours. It is the foundation for your counseling. After completion of your personal history, you'll be asked to watch 2 films at your convenience in your home. These 2 films are found both on our website and on YouTube under the name Gene Wagstaff. The 2 films are Causes of Anger and Emotional Triggers, Part 1 and Part 2. These films are an introduction to this ministry and will give you a basic understanding of what will occur during counselor sessions and how to resolve your emotional triggers. It's very important that you watch these 2 films prior to your next visit, because your next visit will be with your counselor. We also have online marriage workshop to teach you how to be married. This workshop will be a workbook which will be given to you with films for you to watch from the WOG website and from YouTube. As you go through the workbook, you can discuss these things with your counselor and during counseling sessions of why you feel the way you do and how to resolve these issues. Your counselor will help you to go through these workbooks along with resolving your emotional triggers. Our counselors are highly trained in resolving relationship issues. We look forward to helping you. Give us a call and let's get you started on the road to a healthy and happy marriage. Again, I'm Gene Wagstaff, founder of WOG Counseling.